Garrett is dinking around with some camera problems. It wouldn't be a Garrett the Gamer pod, or I guess live stream if there weren't problems going on somewhere.
There's so
So
many
we're
problems.
trying to get those figured out. So
There's
you get
so
me
many
right now.
problems.
But Mr. Scully, yes, it's on Twitch and on YouTube. We're currently working through a couple different ways to get it live on multiple platforms at the same time. This is only episode 7, so we're still working through some technical difficulties as we go.
Or like
every
Garrett's
week it changes,
stupidity.
but Garrett likes to dink around with stuff in the background, and he always breaks it. So
It's like 9 times out of 10. It's like I try something that's just it wasn't worth trying. We should have just left it.
we'll get it figured out. Eventually, we're gonna try and have both chats combined into the same, I guess, thing for us to see, so that we can see everybody chatting. Right now, I have YouTube over here and Twitch over here, so I'm like trying to watch both chats simultaneously. But eventually, we're gonna get something so we only have to look at one spot and it has both chats combined on there, which will be super nice.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, we
someday.
are live on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So we're using OBS Geeksmith.
And I'm sick, which just makes this all the easier.
Yes, off-brand Jack Black will be reading your comments. I have been reading your comments every week.
We just need to like display it better.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be like running through because I also have Discord open up in the middle. So I have a bunch of different stuff going on at the same time, and we're gonna be doing a tier list this week. So
that's
we're
the
gonna
thing
have that
that's given
open
us
up
the
at
most
exact same
grief.
time. Yes.
It's giving me so much grief right now. We're almost there though. All right, what are the tiers that you typically tier list something at? S, A, B, C, D, E, F. Is that it? Is that it, chat? We good?
No E, just F.
Just F? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna make
it's like
F.
grades in school.
Oh yeah, there's no F. Why does it? What? I just realized how dumb that is. Why isn't there? Whatever. I'm not gonna think too hard about it. I also apologize, chat, because I am a little bit sick today. I've been coughing up a fetching storm, so if I hack up a long mid-podcast, you can blame the freaking... I'm not sure if it's COVID, but I want to think it is.
Orion Drift.
Orion
It's
Drift. You haven't heard of that? That's a new monkey game. The new Gorilla Tag game.
Ah.
It is fine. I'm really excited about it. Like, I'm stupid excited about it.
Oh yeah. We were talking about this the other week. It's like the Gorilla Tag meets that other game? What was it called? Disc game.
Echo.
Yeah, Echo. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I think it looks pretty dope.
I've been trying so hard to get into their closed beta, but they won't let me in. They hate me. Understandably, but
Well, you're a competitor, man.
I am. Well, not really. I'm not in that space necessarily.
That's true. You could be though.
I could be. I could. Sounds like that guy from Friends. I could be. I could have kids. Oh my gosh.
Have you guys played any fun games this week, chat? Garrett is still getting stuff figured out. We're gonna talk about Call of Duty 6, Black Ops 6. We're also gonna talk about the Batman game that Garrett streamed on whatever day it was last week.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a couple of fun topics, but have you guys played anything fun over this weekend?
Anything of note?
The Talk to a podcast. Never watched it.
Oh gosh, that's like the running joke on my stream right now is that I'm gonna be a guest on the Haktua podcast. It's like
You gotta
why?
spit on that thing.
No, not you too. No.
Everybody knows it, man.
Oh no. We lost him, chat. Declan's banned from the podcast. Oh no. Okay, I think I got it figured out. I think we're ready on the tier list. We just got to find images as we go. That'll be fine, though.
We are talking about games, so I guess the schedule's changed a little bit. Typically, we would do our podcast on Tuesdays, but we're going to start doing them on Wednesdays instead.
Yeah.
And then I think Garrett's playing games on Mondays and Fridays. Is that kind of the schedule?
Yep, Monday and Fridays, I'm going to start doing more of like a regular like game stream where I'm going to play stuff. And then on Wednesdays, we're going to talk about the stuff that's been going on during the week. So Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm turning into a streamer now, chat. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
I'm thinking about doing some streams too. Garrett and I can maybe try to pick one of the days to do some multiplayer streams, but I'm gonna start trying to live stream dev sessions. So that'll be a little bit of fun if you're interested in game development. You can jump in and work through game development with me a little bit.
If you want to do something useful, go watch Declan's chat. If you want to brain rot, come watch my chat. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, probably. No, my stream will be brain rot too. You'll be seeing my chat GPT tell me how to program. So
You guys will
We'll
see
be
what
learning
what
together.
it was like to be in college with Declan, trying to figure stuff out while we were distracted by skibidi toilet stuff. Skibidi. Anyway, okay, I think we're good to go. So
cool.
anyway,
Sick.
let's chat. Let's talk through the craziness that has been Black Ops 6. Have you played it?
Yeah.
Have you jumped into it
I
at
have
all?
not.
Okay,
No, I saw it,
it's pretty awesome.
but yeah, you like it?
So I jumped on last Friday with stream.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun. And I don't know. I have it because of Game Pass. I was not about
Yeah.
to drop $70 on this. And that's kind of been interesting because it's kind of changed my perception of it, because it's like, man, Game Pass is so worth it because I have this game. But yeah, on Friday I played the crap out of multiplayer with chat and stream, and it was a lot of fun. And then on Monday I was playing zombies. Now, I might jump back into zombies tomorrow or on Friday for stream again, because I did not realize how many Easter eggs they packed into zombies. And that's kind of been crazy. Yeah, like I played it and I was like, this is pretty fun, I guess. Like it's it's round-based survival. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's zombies, man.
It's zombies. It's not the same. Like a lot of people are saying like, oh, round-based zombies is back. This is gonna be as good as Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 2. It's not that. It's a different game, but it's still pretty fun. I have my own critiques of it just because I have my own opinions. Like I hate health bars. I've talked about this all the time, but I hate health bars, and now everything has a health bar, which to me is just an immersion breaker. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that's in there. That's fine. But
The zombies had health bars?
the zombies have health bars. As you're shooting
That's
the zombies,
weird.
it tells you how much health they have, and it gives like
That's
the.
not normal, right?
I don't know. That's what they've been doing lately. They've been doing a lot. It's more arcadey. They like show like your hit points. They like pop off of them like an arcade thing. I don't like that. I'm all about like immersive, like, you know, Dead Space type stuff where it's like, or even Helldivers. Like you only know it's down once it's down, and that's how it used to be, right? Like you only knew a zombie was down when the lights went out of its eyes, and it stopped running at you, right? So it's not the same game, but it's pretty fun still. I would love to try that multiplayer. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason I used to play Call of Duty. I was never like one of the multiplayer players, I guess. I didn't jump on and play online a ton. I only ever really played with my friends playing zombies. So it'd be interesting. I've played most of the zombies up until now. I think I might have missed a generation or two, but I don't know. I really liked it. It's kind of the most interesting thing about Call of Duty to me.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to hear how the new movement mechanics have changed it and made it more interesting to play again.
So this was one thing that I was observing while I was playing it on Monday, is that omnidirectional movement makes for some really fun like escape moments, because you still have that horde thing where like if you get trapped by the horde you're screwed, but
Yeah.
that omni movement with like sliding and whatnot, like I got out of some sticky situations. Like chat will tell you, like we got out of some super sticky situations because we slip and slide our way out of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's been pretty cool. Like you feel pretty bad when you like slip through like a huge crowd of zombies, and
Yeah.
you know, like you're shooting back at them. So that's been cool. But I truly think omni movement has been really fun for like multiplayer in general. I don't know. I like it. I'm kind of a fan of it just because that movement has existed in Call of Duty, but not everyone visually realized
Use
that's
it.
what you're supposed to do, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
And omni movement like at least the animations and stuff, just make it so that it makes sense in your brain that like, oh, I can move in these directions, whereas most people don't like mentally make that switch until they played with a certain caliber of player, right?
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Did you try the training? Like, have you ever trained zombies before? You know what that is?
Oh yeah, we did huge trains.
Okay.
We were doing huge trains. You can still train zombies. They have these crazy bosses in it now. They got this like
that's pretty cool.
they got this like guy with like a mechanical arm, which you can like shoot it off and like pick it up and shoot things with it, which is kind of cool. They got this like 3-headed dog, and then these stupid spider things. Golly, I hated those. Those are supposed to be like the
dogs from the
hellhounds.
older ones?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like the old hellhounds. I didn't love those, but they're fine for what they were. And then on the other map, so there's 2 maps right now. There's one called Liberty Falls, which is like set in like a small town in like Virginia or something like that.
Okay.
But this is the other thing that was weird about it is it's like it's daytime as you're playing the zombie map, so you're not scared at all. You're just like feels like Walking Dead, middle of the day kind of zombie type thing. I don't know. It was a weird vibe to go for. Like all they had to do was make it nighttime, and it would have been 10 times scarier, more zombie vibe. But they made it middle of the day, and it's just like okay, whatever, that's cool. And then they have another map called Terminus, and that one is like an island, and it's like nighttime. That one's like more scary. But also I've like my TikTok page right now is just full of like all the Easter eggs that you can do on these maps, and so like I want to jump back into it and try out all these Easter eggs because I was like, whoa, there's so many things you can do in zombies. I had no idea. So
Oh yeah.
kind of excited about that. That's like kind of hooking me back into zombies a little bit, which has been fun.
Did
But
you ever play the one in the like Roman or Greek period where you're running
No.
through the Colosseum? Oh,
No.
yeah, those were crazy Easter eggs you could do in there.
so I
Changed
was
the whole game a ton.
I was huge into zombies in Black Ops 1 and 2, and then when 3 came out, I feel like that was like my first semester of college. So like I just
Okay.
had no time for video games. So I didn't buy
That's
it.
when
I
I
didn't do
played the
anything.
most video games.
So, yeah. Declan and Garrett's stories. Garrett got serious and Declan got less so.
I played League of Legends for 72 hours straight in my freshman year of college.
Chat, that is
So-
not healthy. Please don't do that.
Only if you're a real gamer. Like
Oh,
Psycho
no.
Gamer said, I am a Sigma Alpha AW Rizzler.
Oh gosh.
So I played 72 hours of League of Legends straight without sleeping.
Oh
Whereas
no.
Garrett is not a Rizzler. So he did not play that many video games.
Hey, I'm making up for it now with my entire life dedicated to video games. It's that easy. What I missed out in college, I'm making up for tenfold.
Yeah, man, it was so much easier in college. If you are going to be an addict and a shut-in like I was, college is definitely the easiest time to do it. Don't try and do it while you have kids.
There's an idea. Jeez. I cannot, for whatever reason, it is just not letting me see YouTube chat today. So YouTube, you're getting ignored by me. I can't see you. Sorry.
YouTube. Okay, somebody in YouTube wanted to ask, are you going to join them to watch the Phase 2 event?
Oh, yeah, so Sale Phase 2 is about to kick off. We are so close. My guess is it goes live probably sometime tomorrow. Tomorrow's Halloween, right?
Yeah.
So
Is that for Black Ops?
no, this is for Sale.
okay.
The second phase of the Halloween event will probably go live. At the rate we're going right now, it'd probably go live somewhere like probably around noon.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to be in the servers when that goes down. Maybe I should be just to record people's reactions because it's gonna be
You
wild.
need to be, man.
I think I need to
Yeah,
be.
that's awesome.
Might have to be. Might need a may just have to throw up a stream tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see, chat. We'll see. But yeah, no, phase 2 is coming up, boys. Y'all aren't ready for it. That's all I can
That's
say.
gonna be fun.
It's pretty cool. We're really proud of it as a team.
I might even jump on
It's pretty sick. It'll be worth your while. It's
Alright.
a fun
tomorrow at noon.
ish.
My schedule.
Whenever we get 6,666,666 skulls donated, which we're at almost 6 million right now. So like we should
Okay.
be pretty close.
So how is it gonna? Is it just gonna trigger globally for everybody at the same time?
Yeah, trust me, you're gonna know that Ish went down. You're gonna
So
know.
we won't be able. You have to be in to see it happen.
You have to be in to see the like kickoff, but from then on out until something else happens, like the entire map will be slightly changed.
Okay.
It's gonna be wild. It's pretty cool.
Dang. You guys better be playing tomorrow. Call in sick from school.
Calling sick.
That's what I remember when Assassin's Creed 3 came out, I think is the one.
Oh wait,
I skipped school. that day.
the revolutionary one.
No, 3 was maybe it was Brotherhood. It was one of them. It was one of the big releases when I was in high school. My friends all waited in line at GameStop for like, I don't know,
A couple hours.
12 hours to get it.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I just went to Blockbuster and rented it. So that's how long ago it was. Blockbuster was still
Wow.
around.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, they all stayed up super late. That's what they do. We'd all do that for Call of Duty. So I had friends that would skip like 3 days of school after Call of Duty came out, and they would just grind until they could hit like 10th prestige,
Oh my gosh.
and then
my
I would
gosh.
just rent it, and not have to wait in line because Blockbuster always had it.
See, that's the other crazy thing to me. I jumped on Black Ops last night. Like this is
Yeah.
testament to how much I'm liking this game. Like I'm jumping on and just solo playing Black Ops 6. Like it's been a while since I've had a game like that. But I jumped on last night and it's like this game has been out for less than a week. And I'm playing with people who have gold guns and like our third prestige. I'm like, "What do you like I'm a full-time gamer technically, and yet like I'm only level like 50 or whatever." Like how is it that people have gold gunned out the freaking game? And like I saw people who were like, "Yeah, I did it within 24 hours." I was like, "Holy crap, dude. Calm down."
You play video games professionally, right?
You could say that.
How many hours do you play though? That's the real thing.
I mean, like when we went live on Friday, we played. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be short stream chat," and then I proceeded to play for 4 hours. So like,
Yeah.
that's a decent. That's
a
a
4-hour
decent.
session's like, I get on at like 10 p.m. with my friends, and we'll play until 2 a.m. Like that's an easy session, you know, with League of Legends. If my wife is not here and my daughter's not here and I have time to play, I'll sit down and like 16 hours will just disappear.
That's
the difference.
How? Like, do I just have too much ADHD to like not? Like, we need to do a whole like psychology of gamers podcast episode where we talk about
Dude.
the crazy things gamers do without realizing it because we're crazy.
I lived off of Mountain Dew Voltage and Monster my first semester of college.
How are your arteries not
And-
just like solid crystal at this point? Like, my gosh, man.
I think it probably wasn't healthy. Well, I know it wasn't
Is
healthy.
that a question? Oh man.
But yeah, it was a time, man. It was
It was a
it was
time.
a vibe, as the youth would say nowadays. It was a vibe.
It was a vibe. Oh man. Chat, what's the longest you guys have stayed up playing like continuously? I'm genuinely curious. It's like I've pulled an all-nighter or two in my life, but man, it sounds like people are doing this like on the weekly. Like
I have a
goodness.
friend that pulls at least one all-nighter a week.
That's not okay. Like
I do it every once in a while still when I need to.
need to.
Oh yeah, I've pulled all-nighters for work multiple times. I've worked like, I think the longest shift I've ever worked was about 50 hours
Yikes.
in a 3-day period. So
Yikes.
yeah, I still have to for work sometimes because like some of the companies I work with are in England, so it's easier to
that
work
makes
at
sense.
4 a.m. than it is to work at, you know.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Declan is an incredible augmented reality developer. He does lots of cool like filters and stuff, and he also makes just like you're using Zapper right now, right? Is that the big one that you've
Yeah,
been working
so-
on?
That's the one in England that I work with. I went to a conference with them 2 weeks ago. I use a lot of Niantic Studio now, which is the new platform that Niantic has rolled out. It's a game engine for the web, which is pretty fun. And then I've done stuff on TikTok before, like TikTok filters. I've done Instagram filters, and I'm actually in the early program for YouTube filters. So YouTube is building out a filter system, and I'm building out small filters for YouTube. So if you're ever making a short from YouTube, you can use a filter. Um, so that's just early stages. There's only like 60 of us that are working on that side of things with YouTube, but pretty fun. Um, but yeah, right now, like the big project I'm working on, me and ChatGPT wrote a game design doc for a new project I'm going to be working on over the next couple weeks today. Have you guys ever played Jump King? Any of you guys?
Jump King.
Yeah.
Jump King. Jump King on Steam.
It's a rage game.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this last week, were we?
Yeah, so
Two weeks ago?
I finished my game design doc today. I'm remaking Jump King in Niantic Studio. A rage game. It's going to be free to play. You're going to be able to play it on your browser.
Ooh.
So you'll just go to a website and be able to launch it. The cool thing I'm going to be doing, though, so there's a technology called a Gaussian splat. I don't know if you've ever heard of a Gaussian splat.
Not ever once. That sounds like something made up.
So what you do essentially is you grab your phone, you download an app called Scanverse, and then you can move around an object, and it'll take like tons of little pictures, and then basically just put little dots in a 3D space around it.
Okay.
And it'll turn it into a 3D model. So you can make 3D models of real world objects and real world things. So basically I'm going to be taking like a water bottle, turning it into a Gaussian splat, and putting it in the game. So all of the obstacles in the game are going to be real world objects that I'm scanning in, and all of them are going to be, turning into, I guess, different. I'm going to be using real world objects for platforms instead of just cool assets. That's the challenge, is you have to use either Gaussian splats or you use real world positions for augmented reality. So you'd be like going to a physical location and building an augmented reality game at a physical location. So I'm already doing that for a different project. So for this one, I'm going to be using Gaussian splats for everything.
Okay, so that reminds me of a game that I saw. They were advertising it at Gamescom this year. I didn't go to Gamescom, but I got tagged in a lot of stuff because there was a huge VR presence this year at Gamescom, which I thought was awesome. Gamescom is held every year in Germany, in Cologne, Germany, and VR had like a whole section where a lot of the big players in the VR space actually had like legit booths, and they're like doing demos and stuff of upcoming games. Like, it just goes to show, like, VR is, like, we're getting there. We're getting so close. But, anyway, one of the games that they were showing off, I want to say that it was from the guys who do Demio. Is that Resolution? I want to say it's Resolution Games.
Yeah, Resolution Games.
So, Resolution Games has a new augmented reality platformer where the platforms appear on like your walls. So you like, the way that they're showing it off is you would like scan your room, and then it would create this maze, like how a platformer works, right? And you would be third person controlling this guy like in your room, and like you kind of had to like use the different angles and stuff to find your way through it. It was really cool. It's kind of a cool concept.
I'm going to be doing something like that. So it sounds like that'll be on a headset, right?
Yes, that was on. They're showing it off on the Quest 3. So
cool. I'm going to be going in and scanning a couple of physical locations. So one of them is just going to be somewhere near me. I'm going to be turning it into a way spot. So I guess how the technology works, for those who might not know, it's like Pokemon Go. So Niantic owns Pokemon Go, right? And you have different way spots in Pokemon Go, which are like physical locations where you can go to do things like a Pokestop or a gym.
Okay.
Those are called way spots in the Niantic world.
Okay.
So I'm going to go scan a new way spot and then create a platformer on that way spot, so that if you have the website, you can go and download the game and then play a platformer on a way spot. That's for a different project I'm working on. So I'm currently working on two projects with Niantic. One for a game challenge, which is the the like frustration game or anger game,
Right.
the rage game, and then the other one is going to be for a developer accelerator fund that I got into. I'm going to be going in and doing the Wayspot platformer game for that one for like a fund that I got into with Niantic.
Nice.
But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of platformers coming. I played that Animal Well.
Oh
and
yeah.
Really wanted to make a platformer after playing that again.
Got hooked.
So yeah, I got hooked on platformers. I love like Metroidvanias, and I've been playing a lot of platformers recently and like watching streams of platformers. So I really wanted to make one. So that's what I'm going to do for the next probably 2 months.
Okay.
I'll build those 2 games out,
Okay. Okay.
and I'll try and do them on stream.
That'd be fun.
That's the goal.
I have been, ever since we talked about Gorilla Tag movement, I have been a little bit going crazy about like different games that to do in
Yeah.
Gorilla Tag. I am debating on maybe just doing a quick Gorilla Tag movement game myself.
Yeah,
Let-
that'd be fun.
Let the sale devs keep going on sale, and then maybe making my own another one. It would be like, it'd still be a Red Team Interactive game, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I
like
don't
a
know.
single player game.
I'll have to pitch the different ideas to my community and see like
Yeah.
which one people would want. But we'll have to talk to
Dude,
that.
that sounds awesome. I've been watching a lot of game development YouTube channels again.
Who's big
and-
right now? Because like ever since Danny disappeared,
Yeah.
like who are the big ones? Who is the game devs of the internet right now?
I mean, Blackthorn Prod has been a big one for a long time.
Yeah, he's good.
It's him and his brother, and they do challenges. So they do like the 6 developers develop a game. They each have like 2 days, but then one of them passes it to the other one without telling them what the game is, and they have to kind of infer from
Oh,
what the other people did as to what the game is.
that just sounds like a logistical nightmare. I would hate
That's
that.
what I want to start working on, man.
Oh, gosh.
That's what I want to do
Ugh.
for XR. I want to do that kind of stuff so bad. Like, if I could do anything with my career, that's the content that I would start creating. So, I would love to do like a collaborative VR project where you work on it for a week and then I work on it for a week, and then we just publish whatever we have
Oh gosh.
for like free somewhere. That'd be so much fun.
Oh gosh. Oh. I don't know. The problem is like my brain has so many projects that I want to like get into the world so badly that it's like
Yeah.
if I spend time on something else, it's like an opportunity cost. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so let's say I should remake Sail VR but with Gorilla Tag movement. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. That's
I
fetching
think
funny.
everybody. Well, people don't know. So the things that Garrett and I used to work on, we called ourselves rapid prototyping professionals. So like that was in college. That's what we did a lot of, was just creating rapid prototypes of things. To try out different mechanics. It'd be fun to do a month where we could see how many rapid prototypes we came up with to like make games with cool mechanics, and then try and dive into like one of those specific games to see if they could turn that into like a successful game, you know?
I'm
I
kind
think
of
that'd be a
tempted.
cool YouTube series.
That would be a really interesting YouTube series. I'm actually tempted to do that with my game studio. I kind of
Yeah.
want to let each of my developers like take, because we talk about game ideas all the time. We have a whole channel in our workspace where we like anyone can pitch a game idea and we kind of workshop it a little bit. We have a couple that I'm kind of like, because this last year we took June and we made another game and we released it. It's called
Okay.
Hard Drive for those who don't know. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
we've been thinking like we have all these new game ideas and I kind of want to say, all right, like everyone gets a month and you're going to build like at very least like a vertical slice of one of these game
Yeah.
ideas. And then we'll pitch it to the community. Everyone can go and try out like a vertical slice of the game. And that'll help us determine like which one we spend like another month developing more
Yeah.
of. I've just
That's a lot of fun.
it would be so much fun, but the bigger thing about it that I'm like that is exciting to me is I love community feedback, right? And I
Yeah.
feel like so many studios don't utilize
Don't
it
do it.
enough to like determine their next project. And I kind of feel like we fell into this trap a little bit when we made Hard Drive. It was we were like, oh, let's just build this game really fast. And it was kind of the game that we internally wanted to build. And I love Hard Drive. It's great, and I think it's a testament to what my team can do. But like as I look forward, I'm kind of like, man, I want to build another like sale category game. But in order to do that, I need to pitch it to the community first and see which one they want. And only that way, I feel like, can we get another something like that big. Anyway,
Have you ever thought about making a single player game?
I have a single player horror game that I want to build really bad.
Yeah, horror game from somebody who doesn't play horror. Come on, man.
Well, so that's kind of why I think it might do well, because Markiplier talks about this a lot. Markiplier's like the king of horror. That dude only plays horror games, right? But he talks about how there's tropes in horror games, right? And he says he can walk through a horror game and he just knows
exactly
what's gonna happen because it's just like so. Like, if you know the tropes of horror games, you know how it's like you're just gonna fall right into them. So I'd be curious to try making a horror game as someone who's never played like intense horror games, just to see like what I come up with and whether or not it's scary to like the community as a whole. So anyway,
no, I think a lot of people are kind of copying that. What is it? The tunnels
Backrooms.
or whatever.
Backrooms
thing.
Yep.
Like that's what everybody's doing right now, right?
Pretty much.
So it'd be interesting to see like if you come up with a different concept.
I had the one that I have like workshopping in my head is it plays on a couple of different fears. It would play very much on Thassophobia and claustrophobia. Thassophobia is like that fear of like looking out to the ocean, right? And then claustrophobia is just like being in a tight space. I don't know. Will be interesting.
So I do boys' night every Thursday with some of my friends, and they've been playing Phasmophobia recently again.
Great game.
That's pretty fun to watch. Yeah.
Fantastic VR game as well. Declan, what happened? Did you freeze?
Oh no, I'm here still.
Oh, you're back.
It froze on stream.
Oops. Okay, you're back. We're
Sorry, my brain was. I probably had like a brain freeze. I was thinking about stuff.
good.
That was like an internal full body freeze.
Oh, that's funny. All right.
Well, what'd you think of the Batman game?
I will go on record and say this right now. You ready?
Let's hear it.
That is the greatest VR game in existence right now.
Really?
It is the most fun I have had in a virtual reality experience in a long time, and it showcases all of the best things about virtual reality, in my opinion.
Cool.
Like, I am so excited that is what is being packaged with the Quest 3S, which is gonna, I know that is just gonna blow up this Christmas. Like, I would be so surprised if that doesn't blow up this Christmas, because that game is fantastic. Like, the combat in it is so satisfying. The fact that you're looking down and you see that you are Batman and, like, your shadow is fetching the Batman ears. Like, and, like, the resolution is incredible. Like, the physics, like, it's, like, it feels like all the stuff that we have figured out about VR games over the past 5 years got put into this game. And it just has created just, like, the most amazing experience. It is so much fun. So good.
You think it's a better showcase than Half-Life Alyx?
I do.
That's the standard that most people, like when you're showing off virtual reality, everybody's like, show off Half-Life Alyx. That is the standard of a virtual reality game right now, I'd say.
I think it goes toe-to-toe with Half-Life Alyx and does better because of two big things. Number one, full body presence. That's my big thing. Half-Life Alyx, you just have the hands. And they did a lot of really cool revolutionary things with that. But having a full body presence, being able to see that you're Batman, being able to see your legs, and as you're punching the crap out of these like villains and stuff, that is a much better showcase of virtual reality, in my opinion. And then also like movement, like that, just like the movement and stuff, and like Also, like the relatability. Like, I'm sorry, but it's way
Yeah.
cooler to be Batman than the character they created for Half-Life Alex, right? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's a cooler because again, my whole thing with virtual reality, the reason I think it is so cool is because you can do and be things you cannot do and be in real life, right? And the Batman game, you are the Batman. Like this is the closest you will get to beating up criminals and stuff in Gotham City as you ever will, right? And it's so good. It is so good. Such a good game. Such a great. Oh, I love it. I'm so impressed with it. They did a great job with it. It's such a and they like listen to all the stuff about virtual reality and put it into it. Like that's an S tier game in my opinion.
I think it's interesting. So, would you, if you were introducing somebody to VR for the first time, would you give them Batman or would you give them Beat Saber? Because like Beat Saber is still kind of the first casual game that most people play, I would say.
Yeah, it's like it is. It's so tough because like there's still this issue of motion sickness, right? And like I feel like if I were to drop someone into the Batman game, they would have that whoa moment, right? Just
Yeah.
like again, like the fact that you can just look at your hands and you're seeing the Batman gloves with like the spikes on the side of your arms and stuff. Like that is a whoa moment in virtual reality. But
Yeah.
as soon as they start moving, like that would be tricky, you know? Whereas Beat Saber is a great way to like introduce them to like the movement and everything like that. Um so I don't know. Like I would almost say that I would put them into Batman because Batman does a better job of showing them the woe of VR. And
Hmm.
I almost feel like that would do a better job at motivating them to like stay in VR because of how dang cool it is, right? Anyway, that's my
Oh, that makes sense.
that's kind of how I'm currently thinking about this.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think Beat Saber, everybody that I introduce into Beat Saber has fun. The thing that is so nice about it is if you're not good at Beat Saber, you can still have fun playing the game.
For sure.
It's like you don't have to be an expert. Do you feel like that is still a possibility in Batman? Like can people that aren't good at VR yet or good at like Batman still have fun while playing Batman?
I don't know. Obviously like I played it as like a very experienced VR person. I don't I feel like they do a great job. This is the other thing though, like it is a story game. Like you walk through like a mission. It's very linear. It's not open world, which is like my one complaint about the game. I would love it to have been more open world, but they definitely more created it as like a linear storyline and whatnot. But with that being said, like if someone were to start from the beginning and they were to choose like the very basic uh difficulty tier, I think they would be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be curious, but again, I just feel like the Batman game is a much better like first experience just because of the wow that you will get from jumping in and seeing like I am Batman. Whereas
Yeah.
Beat Saber's getting better, especially with all the music packs, but also those music packs are locked behind a paid tier wall, right? You have to buy the DLCs
For
in order
sure.
to have them.
Yeah.
And like depending on the person, right? Like I don't know. It's hard. I just feel like for like a singular experience, you're going to convert more people to VR showing them Batman than Beat Saber, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think I mean I made a video like a quick minute long video last week about like what is virtual reality. I still feel like one of the biggest and most important things about virtual reality is getting somebody into a situation where they are able to experience something they would never be able to experience outside of virtual reality. Like a wow experience that maybe you've always wanted to do. So like being a pirate, like sail, or being a monkey climbing around trees, or in this one being Batman. I think that's what draws people into VR, and then that's still one of the biggest selling points to me. But I feel like it hasn't been talked about or like demoed as much recently. I guess that whole aspect of things. Like a lot of people are recreating things in other types of video games and other things that you can kind of already experience. But there's this whole like, I don't know, world of virtual reality where you're able to do things that are impossible anywhere else.
Yeah.
So
There's a couple of problems going on in VR right now. Like Gorilla Tag movement is kind of a problem right now
you
because,
think so?
well, like I don't wanna like, again, we talked about this on like a previous podcast where like Gorilla Tag movement is very intuitive, and it's also like it's comfortable and it's also really fun, you know. But the problem
Yeah.
is like that is being overshadowed. Like the fact that it is a movement mechanic, I feel like is being overshadowed by the fact that it is a moneymaker, right? Like you're getting these studios who are coming in and they're just saying like, okay, Gorilla Tag
Gotcha.
movement, Gorilla Tag is really popular. Let's just make our own
Yeah.
version of Gorilla Tag, copy paste, ready set go. And, you know, we're getting flooded with like Gorilla Tag clones. What needs to
Yes.
happen is we need to have more games who are like yes, the movement mechanic could be Gorilla Tag movement, but the game itself needs to be completely different. It can't just be a casual social like just tag game, right? Like I played this game Animal Company, like chat has been telling me about this for a long time. But
Yeah.
Animal Company it's Lethal Company with Gorilla Tag movement. And
Okay.
it is fantastic. It is a super fun game. My whole team, we jumped in and played it for like several hours and had a great time with it. But I feel like it was because, like, first and foremost, you know, it used the Gorilla Tag movement, which was fun and whatnot. But like the gameplay itself lent to a fun experience because it was like a
Yeah.
fully flushed out game loop and reward system and XYZ, you know? Like that's kind of my worry right now with Gorilla Tag movement is people are focused more on the Gorilla Tag business side of things and not so much
For sure.
that it's like this is a movement mechanic that you can use to then make
In
your
any game.
game loop more enjoyable in virtual reality. So
Yeah. I mean, General Milo brings up something that's interesting. Said the fact that you can see kids 13 and under create Gorilla Tag games in under a day just to show how, or just shows how easy it is to make a game with Gorilla Tag movement. And like that is very true, right?
yeah,
Like I love the fact that kids are able to get into development through Gorilla Tag. I think that is fantastic. But we're losing a lot of like game design, right?
Creativity.
That's a huge aspect of making a video game. Like yes, it is awesome to make a clone. It's awesome for people to jump in and make something that is like the game that they like. It just sucks that everything is Gorilla Tag and it's like we're just remaking Gorilla Tag over and over and like I don't know. I feel like is it Yeeps? Like that takes the Gorilla Tag idea and kind of expands on it.
Exactly.
Right?
yeah,
People aren't doing that.
yeah,
And that's where like if there was some way to get kids more involved into game design itself, I feel like that would be really cool because then they could do something with Gorilla Tag movement, but then use like design ideas, taking inspiration from other games, and then take that and create games using the movement, but not necessarily just a rip immediately of Gorilla Tag. So that's interesting to think about. It'd be fun to figure out if you could create a way to help kids get into other genres of video games using Gorilla Tag movement and just give them more. I mean, kids have the best imagination, so give them the opportunity to really use their imagination to create something that's new instead of just another copy, you know?
Well, so that kind of brings up the other problem with this is like you can follow a YouTube tutorial and get a Gorilla Tag clone super fast, right? But the next step of like, okay, I'm going to take Gorilla Tag movement and multiplayer networking and create my own game with my own game loop, that is really tricky right now. And we've talked about how tricky like networking programming is and just like how much we're losing on that front.
Sure.
Like I think that's like the big problem right now is it's just like we're just like that next step that it takes to go from like this is the idea I have and actually figuring out how to make it work with multiplayer networking. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. To me, that's another problem, though.
Uh-oh.
Because not every game needs to be... Uh-oh.
You're
Did you
frozen.
lose me?
You're just frozen.
Okay. I'll turn my camera on and off. That should help. But like, not every game needs to be multiplayer. Right? We don't need every game that's made to be a multiplayer game. I understand like there's an appeal to that. Like in virtual reality, in general, people like multiplayer games. I feel like we're kind of losing the world of like campaign games or like challenge games, and there's not enough people designing single player games that are just a solid experience. And then I don't know, like multiplayer games are fun, but as a developer, it's so complicated to maintain a multiplayer game. Like now that you have Sail, you will never be able to stop working on Sail. It is going to need to be worked on and maintained forever.
For eternity.
And I grew up in an era, right, where I had a Nintendo 64 cartridge and it was released, and that's what it was. And
that was the game.
There are bugs, and there still are bugs inside of Super Mario 64, and people exploit them to do speed runs, but that's kind of part of the beauty of it and the fun, I feel like we need more people exploring single-player experiences, and it makes me sad that there aren't. I feel like we're just losing out on so much fun stuff because people are, like, kind of forcing themselves to make something that's multiplayer.
So my counter argument, like I see what you're getting at, but like the counter argument to this is the fact that like playing games has evolved, right?
For sure.
Consoles have very much originally a console was for the whole family, right? Like you would sit around, like even like the Nintendo, what was it called? The NES, like they had like 4 controller slots and like split screen multiplayer was a huge thing. Yeah. Like if you wanted to play with your friends, like that was a whole part of like our childhoods, is like you'd come over and play games with your buddies, right? Like you could even play like split screen. There's so many games where it's like there's only split screen enabled locally, right? But as the internet has improved, we've seen that like we've switched over into like a more like, oh, you play on your own device but you play with your friends still. And like I don't know, I don't see people like I don't know, like I have a brother-in-law who like he brings over his friends, and he's like in high school still, and they bring over like all their Xboxes, and they play in the same room, but they're all playing on their same devices. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like consoles have moved away from that like split screen local stuff, and it, like I don't know, like when it comes to like one of the things that keeps people in video games is nuance, right? Something new happens, something fun happens that like hadn't happened before. And by adding in multiplayer to any game, the just the nuances that can happen in any situation increase like tenfold, right?
Yeah.
And so like I think that's also a big part of like the game design that's struggling, is it's just like, oh, we add in another player and suddenly all the game mechanics have an infinitesimal possibility of doing something we didn't expect, which makes the game more fun, right?
I agree. I think multiplayer is fun for a lot of things, but you just don't always need multiplayer. Like, I love just getting the opportunity to sit down and play a video game by myself.
Fair enough.
And not having multiplayer. And, like, going through a story-driven narrative, like God of War, when like, those types of games come out. It is so much fun to play, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War, and like I'm paying X amount of money for a game that I will play once, and I'm okay with that sometimes. Or twice, I've played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time probably like 8 times in my lifetime. I've played Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future probably like 6 or 7 times each in my lifetime. They're games that are just like these core memories, and like the game was just so good because it was designed so well that it's fun to go back and replay it.
Fair.
Like, I would never want that. That's just for me. I feel like we're not getting a lot of that kind of stuff inside of games nowadays for virtual reality because they are all focused on multiplayer, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, I see what you're getting at. Also, like VR narrative is hard. like there's a whole conversation that could be had about like straight up how do you do a cutscene in virtual reality, right?
Yeah.
Like story games are a lot easier on flat screen because you can cut to literal cinematics that take up your whole screen. It's like watching a movie. Whereas in virtual reality, like the best I've seen it done, like Arkham Shadows, bringing them up again, like they did a fantastic job with the cutscene element of the game, and it's like it's more like watching a stage play. Like you are on the stage with the actors and whatnot, and they did a fantastic job of making it feel like you were a part of the cutscene. Like the characters look at you, they talk with you, they like point stuff out in real world space, like stuff like that. That is not something indie developers are going to be able to do easily, right? Motion capture and everything else aside, like it's a lot.
There are also games that I've played though from indie developers that don't have any text. There's no, I think having cutscenes and having a forced narrative like that is a crutch that masks over bad design. If you design a game well enough and have things in the game that can tell the story, then you don't need cutscenes. I'm a big believer in that. Like, yeah, cutscenes can add things, but there's also like immersive things that you can do to tell stories without having to actually talk to anybody. I feel like that is something that can be explored. And I mean, you have like silly games like the team that made Rick and Morty made that one Trover Saves the Universe.
Right.
Like, it's a fun. I think it's a fun design. I enjoyed that game. It was fun to play. Moss is a fantastic design for what it is. It's a VR game with like cool platforming mechanics and stuff. Like, those are games that are designed really, really well,
Right.
and use their design to the advantage so that they can tell stories through cutscenes or through audio logs or something. But there are lots of games that don't have any text or have any storytelling, but you get the feel of the story and you kind of understand what's going on from the design of the game. So I think it's just a game design problem too that we are working through in virtual reality.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of the I don't know. The virtual reality is such an interesting segment because, like, again, like Sail VR started off as a single player game, right? And it was a paid single player experience, and there was like lore and stuff that I had hidden throughout the map and stuff that people could get through finding these scrolls and whatnot, and like, quite frankly, the game did not do that well. It did fine, it did okay. It gave me like the grounds to start up a studio and everything like that, but like the number one requested feature is that everyone wanted to do multiplayer. Everyone wanted this to be more akin to Sea of Thieves. And like maybe Sail is a bad example because like it is basically the VR substitute for Sea of Thieves. And so people kind of have that expectation with it. But at the same time, it was interesting being a single player game, and also like there's something to be said about like the free to play industry in general and how that is ruining like the incentive to make a game paid instead of like a multiplayer free to play with microtransactions, because it was hard to get people like Sail VR single player was worth $14, like $14.99. Like that's you can get like Wendy's meals more expensive than that, right?
Yeah.
And yet like it was something else trying to get people to go and buy that game. And for the people who did, like, thank you first off, but like it has been crazy monetarily to see like the difference that multiplayer has made as far as like making revenue and stuff.
Sure.
Anyway, I don't know. We could go for a long time on this, but we should probably move into the segment everyone came for, which is the VR game tier list. So,
Sweet.
should we switch over to that?
Yeah. We can chat about that later. Guys, I also in the chat on both Twitch and YouTube, I posted the link to our Discord channel, which is now in the Garrett the Gamer Discord server.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to the server, there's one channel called, I think it's called Podcast
Topics.
Podcast Topics. Please go there. we want to continue conversations from this in that channel, and we want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. So we're going to be trying to take recommendations and try and take topics that people want us to talk about and bring them into the podcast each week. So we'd love to try and get that channel as active as possible. But
Apparently our volume has been low this whole time. Whoops. Crap.
yeah, I mean, other people have said it's fine, that they can hear us fine.
I'll crank it up a little bit. How's that, chat? Let us know what the volume is. All right. Well, we are moving on, chat. We are going into the VR game tier list. Got our tiers. Now we just need titles. I'm gonna start off with Batman: Arkham Shadows. I think that deserves S tier because that is just a fantastic game. I am so excited about it. Like, I'm just so glad that that's like what is going to be coupled with the Quest 3S coming out this holiday season. Like, oh, so excited about it. So let me find a good image. Oh, not. Let's see how well this does in real time. So,
Let's see. Gaming Destroyer 3000 said Beat Saber. That's another good game. We're going to be taking your guys' input for games, and we can put them on the tier list as well.
Beat Saber.
Okay.
What do you
Scrimpy
think?
said that's better for audio.
Okay, great.
Beat Saber, I would still consider Beat Saber an S tier game. I feel like it is kind of like, I don't know. It's been like the poster child of VR forever. It's hard for me to put it in any other category right now.
So
We're gonna.
I don't want to give it S tier because I just feel like it's not actually good at showing off VR. Right? Like it's a rhythm game. It's pretty much like it was the same as Guitar Hero. I agree that it's like the first VR game that like blew VR up and was like, this is a fun experience in VR. It's a great beginner experience and whatnot. But I just don't want to give it S tier just because I feel like again, this was like another crutch of the VR industry for a while. Everyone was trying to make a rhythm game for a minute there, you know, because they're all like, oh, let's make a Beat Saber clone. Basically, it's a great game. It did a lot for the industry, but I don't think it deserves S tier. But I'll give it A. Like, I do think it's up there. So
okay, I mean, it's one of those things. I feel like being a game that inspires people to copy it is like S tier worthy, right? What do you guys think? Like, yeah, it was the first rhythm game. I think it's still the best rhythm game after every single clone that has come out or copy or game that's tried to be a rhythm game. Beat Saber has like stood the test of time and is still the best one. So to me that like speaks volumes about it. I don't know. I do like other rhythm games too. Like I thought the John Wick one was a lot of fun. That was a very interesting.
Yeah.
But I still think Beat Saber is the best rhythm game, and I really think it was like an industry defining game for years.
All right, I just started a poll on YouTube for S or A. I'm kind of curious what the chat thinks. Because I agree, like, it did a lot for the industry, but I do think it held back the industry a little bit because everyone was like, oh, rhythm games work in VR because of XYZ. Like, yeah. I actually got into an argument with a guy at Gamescom, or not Gamescom, at GDC. He was one of the first employees at Oculus, and he was sitting down talking to me about Sail VR and just ripping on me for like the game design. He's like, it's not user friendly, it's not XYZ, and he's like, you need to be more like Beat Saber where anyone can do it. And like he has a PhD in like game design. He teaches at like a university, the guy.
Yeah.
And I just remember sitting there and being like, dude, look, Beat Saber clones are gonna die. Like they're not original. It's hard to keep up, and like the music industry is hard to work with as well.
For sure.
But anyway, that was a funny conversation, and it's kind of funny to like look back and be like, I told you. Anyway, it's 67% for A, 33% for S. Interesting.
Dang.
We only got 6 votes though. Let's get a couple more votes. Come on, chat. Go vote. Go vote.
We can jump into another game while that is pending.
All pending. Let's get another one. What? All right, Chad. Tell us.
I mean, obviously Gorilla Tag.
Okay,
That's going to be one of the ones on the list. I think Gorilla Tag is a B tier game.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
To me, Gorilla Tag is a demo of a movement system. It is not a real video game.
You know, I can kind of agree with that. It was a movement system. Can agree. Like the game itself is just tag. It's social tag.
And I still feel like most people don't play tag when they get into Gorilla Tag.
No,
it's like a community thing, right?
Yeah, the social features kind of make up for the lack of actual gameplay in a lot of ways. I'm fair to put it at B. I think their new game has potential to be an S tier game because like they took their movement mechanics, they improved on them first and foremost, and they created an entire esport out of it that I'm so excited to get involved with, combined with the social features. I think their next game has a potential to be an S tier. All right. A tier 1 out on Beat Saber. So
dang. All right, we'll leave it there.
All right. Let's get another one. What's next, chat?
Let me think of some games that I have played that I know, like from the top of my head. Let me go through my game list on Steam, or not on Steam, on.
Are we gonna limit this to games we've actually played? I feel like we have to, right?
Yeah, I feel like we can't rate anything that we haven't played.
Did you ever play Transformer, or not Transformer? Did you play Jurassic World Aftermath? The Jurassic World
I
game?
did not.
I didn't either.
I saw it, but I never actually played it. All right, I have a good one. What about Walkabout Mini Golf?
Ooh, Walkabout Mini Golf. This is a good one. Oh, man. I'm going to have a hard time with this one. I am going to have a really hard time with this one. What are your thoughts?
I think it's an S tier because to me, like the beauty of Walkabout Mini Golf, it's a very simple game, right? It's not anything overly complicated. They made it simple, but they did a lot of things that were really fun inside of it, like hiding golf balls in every single map. Like you get to play putt-putt, but then you have like this added component inside of it that keeps you going back and playing and like staying inside of the maps more and looking around. And I think it's really well designed because there are other putt-putt golf games inside of VR and none of them really live up to what Walkabout does. I think it's really, really fun.
So the reason I don't want to give it S tier again is because I don't feel like golf is necessarily like a revolutionary thing to do in virtual reality, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
It is a great I want to put it at A alongside Beat Saber because again, I feel like it did the same thing. Like it set a standard for like this is great beginner experience for anyone. It's a lot of fun. And like yeah, like you're totally right. Like all the like the hidden golf balls and stuff, I feel like did a great job with like keeping people entertained with it and whatnot. Great game, great team supporting it. They figured out like a very non-intrusive monetization system for the game to keep it relevant for a long time. But again, I feel like it was like the actual game itself is nothing revolutionary. They just I don't know.
I think we don't have to have games that are revolutionary in S tier though.
But that's what I want to put in S tier is like the games that are like this shows the possibility of VR. This is what is actually showing like Ready Player One level type stuff where it should go. Like if you have a simple concept like Walkabout, like putt-putt golf, but you execute it perfectly, sure.
To me that deserves to be inside of S as well. And I feel like Walkabout is the perfect execution of the putt-putt golf genre inside of VR.
Fair. I just don't think it like because this is a VR game tier list. I feel like S tier only belongs to those who made VR to the greatest extent, and like Walkabout just wasn't that for me. That's my opinion. Let's pull chat on it again. This has been fun.
Have you guys played Walkabout? To me, like another indicator of how good it is, if I have a long day and I'm playing a bunch of VR games, to end my day, like there's something nice about jumping in Walkabout.
It is
Like,
relaxing.
if I
It's very
jump
casual.
into that after every single game, I feel like it is a really, really good indicator that it's just a top tier game. You know?
I mean, I'm putting it up there. I guess I'm very hesitant on the S tier because I only want to reserve that for like the games I feel like truly deserve. Like I'm trying to think of another game that I think deserves S tier right now, and I'm having a hard time with it. Like Half-Life Alyx might be the only other one.
I feel like Boneworks.
Oh
gonna be
no,
honest.
yeah, you know what? Boneworks. I could put Boneworks.
Boneworks to me, it kind of the coolest thing about Boneworks is the sandbox, and I think
Yes.
that that's very, very unique.
Yes. Did you play Bone Lab?
I did play Bone Lab a little bit,
That's-
not as much as Boneworks, but I did play Bone Lab for a little bit.
Bone Lab is the sequel, which basically did everything Boneworks did, but on the like on the headset itself.
Yeah.
So, I could put let's put a Boneworks up there.
Sweet.
I think that deserves
I think-
an S tier.
People have said, obviously we need to do Sail and Hard Drive VR.
Oh gosh, I can't rate my own games. It's traitorous.
If you were being hypercritical of your own stuff,
I will be very hypercritical of my own stuff.
I think Sail is definitely the higher, right?
Out of the two games, Sail's the more fleshed out one.
Yes.
Sail deserves like A tier or B tier in my opinion. Like
I would say A tier.
critiquing my own game.
I think A tier is a very good spot for Sail.
Okay.
I think it is a game that has the potential to be S. And I know you guys are still working on a lot of stuff.
A lot of
I don't know
stuff.
what would take it over that threshold. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm the wrong person to ask about that. But I do feel like it is a good game. And it deserves to be an A tier. It's one that I would feel comfortable. Oh my gosh. Somebody just said they've played 700 hours of Sail and have not gotten bored of it. So it deserves S tier.
Gabe Saber. Gabe Saber is one of the top PvP players in the game. Like he is
That's
he is
crazy.
goated at the game. It is insane. So one of the reasons I'm very like critical of Sail VR is obviously like it's my own game, and I like every time I jump in I'm like, oh, I need to fix XYZ, and also there is a definite direction I want to take Sail, and there is a quote unquote finished product of the game, and knowing that
Yeah.
I'm not anywhere near that yet of what like finished product Sail will look like is another reason why I'm like, okay, like we can put it in A, because I truly do think that Sail is unique in the sense that it takes advantage of a lot of stuff that VR has to offer. I feel like it very
Yeah, for
much
sure.
is like you have to like you can't experience Sail anywhere else. Like if you want to experience what it's like to be in a pirate environment, sail a pirate ship, and like fire cannons and like actually have that experience, you're not gonna get that anywhere else, you know? So I feel
Yeah.
like Sail does a great job of taking advantage of all of the things that VR has to do with it. But I'm just like, oh, there's so much more that's gonna come out of Sail that I'm so excited for, and it's not there yet. So I will not even consider it S tier yet.
Yeah.
But maybe
And-
at final product, maybe we'll see.
And I think we should kind of define what the tiers are, right? Like S, I guess, if we're doing something that S is like revolutionary
Yeah.
or amazing, right? A is a really, really good game.
Really good game. Like would recommend. Like yeah.
I think like when we get into C territory, C's like I don't mind spending money on it. Like I don't play it a ton over and over again, but I played it enough and it was a good average game. Like I had fun with it. B is kind of probably spent a little bit more time playing it. I think it's niche, so it doesn't fit everybody. And A tier is something that everybody could probably enjoy.
Yeah.
A B tier is probably a more niche game. And then D is like, I bought it. I didn't mind playing it. I don't think it was really worth the value, but it was still fun. F is just a bad game.
Yeah. F is just like it's hot trash.
So
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Okay, hey,
Okay.
yo, so we got the Walkabout mini golf tier results, and They voted S tier.
Yeah,
Okay, chat.
one for me.
I see you. I see you, chat. I'll put it there. I stand by what I said. I will stand by what I said, but I think that is that's pretty deserving. I think it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I've said my piece. All right. Ooh. That's a couple of
contractors.
Contractors. Oh, this is a tricky one. So Contractors is alive because of mods.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I keep typing contractors into Google and it's just like people for hire near you. God dang it. Okay, contractors. Contractors is alive because of the mods, which there's something to say for that. Like the ability to support mods is a whole thing.
For sure.
The gunplay is neither here nor there, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's good. It's fine. Not my favorite.
Yeah.
I
to me, honestly,
also
B tier is what that sounds like to me.
B tier.
It's because, yeah, it's something that probably people would enjoy, but it's niche enough because there are people that are not going to know how to mod it.
Yeah.
And if that's the real benefit of it, then it's not going to be interesting to everybody. You have to be niche enough to actually know that whole world of things, you know?
Yeah, it kind of established like VR shooters are a worthwhile endeavor. And it's fun. Like I love jumping into it, but the only reason I jump into it now is because of different mods that I see about it. Yeah. I feel like the actual like shooting gameplay is neither here nor there. It's fun. Yeah. It's good. But like if I'm going to play a shooter game, I'm much more likely to jump into something like Breachers.
Yeah. Which we could do that next.
We could do that next. There's a couple of other ones. Someone is saying Ghosts of Tabor or Blade and Sorcery.
I think Blade and Sorcery, that one's a hard one for me.
Yeah.
It's an older one, right? It's an older title. It's been around for a while.
Uh-huh.
I played it a long time ago, and when I played it, I had no freaking clue what I was doing.
Yeah. So, my big critique of Blade and Sorcery, until recently, it was a sandbox game.
Yeah.
It was not... Excuse me. It like there's no story, there's no point system. It's not technically a game. Until recently when they've released their more of like a story mode type thing. And like for the story that it is, it's kind of weak in my opinion. What do they call it? Crystal Hunt or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
To me that's like a
like B or C.
B, C. Yeah. Again, C being average, like I think it's a fine game. I think C is probably I don't regret spending money on it, but I didn't really play it a ton. It was just something that I'll play every once in a while. It's not like something that I'm gonna go back for.
The other thing about Blade and Sorcery, well, I don't know. Blade and Sorcery was like the first one to do like no, they weren't. Boneworks was the first one to do the physics based like combat and stuff, right?
And Blade and Sorcery was before Boneworks.
What was it really?
Was released. Yeah. Boneworks was a better system.
Right.
So.
I guess there's something to be said for that because it did kind of set industry standard on like physics interactions in VR and that people liked being restrained by in game and they figured out a lot of stuff with that. But someone said no way Gorilla Tag is above Blade and Sorcery.
I think
that's fair.
Maybe B then. Maybe B.
We can put
them on the same tier.
I can put Gorilla Tag lower.
It was the first like super physics like ragdoll type game. I feel like Boneworks was going to do that anyway. I don't think Blade and Sorcery being a game really affected them. Somebody would have done that anyway.
Yeah.
Like when it was made, that's low hanging fruit, right?
Right.
So
I might move Gorilla Tag a lower tier to C. just cause the more I think
Yeah.
about Gorilla Tag, again, like the game itself it's average. I mean, if we're talking about like the actual game itself, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think that's fine.
Blade and Sorcery, I feel like I definitely feel like that's a good spot for it in B, because it's like some people enjoy it and some people just do not. So it's kind of like Contractors. Like there are definitely some
Yeah.
Contractors love boys, but it is not quite there.
Yeah, it's more of a niche.
It's a niche. Okay, that's a good one. This is a good one. Have you played Ghosts of Tabor?
I have not.
Okay.
Is it worth it?
So it's an extraction shooter. Have you
Yeah.
played Tarkov or any of those?
I have played Tarkov, and just off the bat, being compared to Tarkov already tells me that this is a very niche game.
It is a
Because
niche game.
Tarkov is a very niche game. I
Yes.
don't enjoy Tarkov. I don't think it's fun. It's too complicated for me. I understand why people like it. I
Yeah.
just don't. So
So I will give Ghosts of Tabor, like they are simplified Tarkov, right?
Okay.
It is very much about like the extraction game loop. So
Yeah.
like in Tarkov there's like the whole system of like you got to keep your guns clean, and you got to like if you jam your gun there's a whole like system for like unjamming your gun and stuff. They simplified that in this game where it is more about the loot you extract with, and that whole game loop of you go in and you got to get out. So there's something to be said for that, like making it a better loop. But again, it's still an extraction shooter. The gunplay is great. The looting mechanics are fun. It's like a blade and sorcery physics game, but it's not. I don't think it's for everyone. I don't think this is a game for everyone. So I'll happily put it in. I'll put it in B.
B.
I'll put it in B.
I think that's a good. I mean, I've seen it. Like I've looked at it. I don't know. It doesn't like do anything revolutionary. I think B is good.
I think the things that they did that were revolutionary, in my opinion,
Mhm.
are more of the what do you call it? Oh, I forget the name for it. Like their marketing and stuff and their community. I think that's where they were
Gotcha.
revolutionary. They were
That's
really
cool.
good about that kind of stuff. They did a great job with
Sand Saber says S tier. Sorry, Sand Saber.
Sorry, man. I just realized that I have all of my Discord notifications going crazy right now.
Oh, we can't see him. I don't think you're good.
But the sounds are coming up on the chat.
Oh, in
I
chat.
believe. So,
Oof.
my bad, everybody. My bad. Still learning.
I have my library pulled up.
Okay.
Some games that I think are fun.
All right.
Right. The Climb.
The Climb. So,
How many people in chat have played The Climb?
I feel like this was a bigger one towards the beginning. Like this was one of the ones that released with the Rift S, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there's The Climb 2, which is a
Right.
newer version of it. So we can use The Climb 2. I think that's fair.
We could do The Climb. Okay, so I played The Climb. They did gamify climbing, which was interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would not put this one very high. I feel like this is another B tier game because it's like a niche.
Okay.
It shows off the movement mechanic of VR climbing, which,
Yeah.
to be fair, VR climbing is a really fun part of virtual reality, and they gamified it well. I feel like they did a really cool job with like the whole how long you hang on to things. You could fall off in those senses, like speed runs. Like they took climbing to the utmost they could take climbing. They did a good job with it. But again, like
I think
I have this game in my library and I haven't played it for like 3 years. Is what I want to say.
for sure. I definitely would say it's probably a B tier game. When we started working on VR, it was one of the keynote titles.
It was
Because it's so beautiful. I think that's one of the things
graphically
that The
it
Climb
stood
does.
out.
Yeah, it's a very, very beautiful graphically game. The scenery is amazing. I'm scared of heights,
Mm-hmm.
but I loved Climb because it was just so immersive. It is one of the more immersive titles, I feel like. That's like, I mean, you forget that you're in VR. I haven't done that in a ton of games as of late, but like when I played The Climb for the first time and when I showed it to friends, we would all forget that we are in VR. Like it's just immersive.
Yeah.
So to me, that's really, really cool. And if you haven't tried it, it's a fun one. It's definitely one of those ones where like if it goes on sale, buy it on sale. Um, get the sale or get the Climb 2. It's better just in
Yeah.
every single way. But it's a fun one. I would recommend it.
It is a good one. But it's like one of those, like, again, I feel like it's one of those, you will play it a few times and then you'll probably be done with it. You're not gonna, it's
sure.
not,
Play it forever.
yeah, it's neither here nor there on those things.
What about
Okay, chat. Wait, let's see. Ooh, Richie's Plank experience. Ooh,
Richie's Plank is a funny one.
Richie's
me,
Plank, dude.
It's not a game, it's a demo.
It is a demo.
And it's really good for what it does. I think it's C tier. I don't regret buying it because I love watching people
Freak
pee
out.
themselves. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I've had some very memorable people or memorable times playing that game.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's a C tier.
Yeah. It's a very fun experience. It's cool to
Yeah.
like stick new people into it. Very like user friendly, but it's not a game. We almost need a
Yeah.
tier where it's like it's not a game.
No, that's true.
Richie's Plank is
Somebody said Asgard's Wrath.
Ooh, did you play it at all?
I did. I enjoyed Asgard's Wrath. I feel like it was again one of those things where
There's a few Asgard's Wrath now.
yeah, there's 2 of them.
Are we talking
The
about
second
first
one came with the Quest 3, didn't it? Or was it the Quest 2?
Yes. I think
Okay.
it was the Quest 3.
So Asgard's Wrath, the first one, was a PC VR exclusive.
That's right.
It came with the Rift S. It was awesome because it was another one of those extremely graphic games that I think showed off what a good immersive experience could be like.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Asgard's Wrath 2 did a good job of porting that experience over to the Quest. I think personally it's an A tier. It's a game that I would say most people should play. It's a very solid VR game that most people should have in their library. But I wouldn't call it revolutionary or, industry defining.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So funny thing, I did not play Asgard's Wrath. I never even downloaded Asgard's Wrath 2. There was nothing about those games that was even remotely appealing to me. Nothing. Not a
Yeah.
So but I never played them. So I don't think it's fair for me to rate them because I did not play them. But again, there was not a single thing about those games. Literally, I got Asgard's Wrath 2 for free when I bought the Quest 3.
You should try it sometime, even if it's just for like an hour-long session. Like jump into it and get a feel for it because it is really cool. It's a really fun concept. I think you're kind of a god and you're controlling characters. So you kind of have a god perspective, and then you can jump into their bodies and control them. And each character does different things.
Fair.
It's pretty fun. I think it's a really good VR game. Like I don't think it's industry defining, but I think it is a solid VR game. So I would recommend it to most people that play.
All right, I will put it. We can put it in like we can put it in
A tier.
A or B.
I would say A.
Let's put it out the chat. Let's do another poll. Asgard's
Okay.
Wrath. Oops. We'll do it between A and B because I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's like from what I've seen, I think it's a good game. I just like for whatever reason that style of game, nothing.
I mean,
Just-
you're not also like a Lord of the Rings guy, are you?
I am though. Like not
Oh,
okay.
really?
Not to the extent that like some people are. I really enjoy
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. I love the movies. I love Shadow of War and
Yeah.
what's the other one?
Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor. Loved those games. Played the crap out of those games. But I don't know. I just like this game for whatever reason in virtual reality. It was not very appealing to me. Again, though, I'm not big into those combat games like Blade and Sorcery.
Yeah.
I've played it, but I was not one of those Blade and Sorcery lovers. You know.
It's interesting you love Batman so much then.
See, like for me, I feel like the reason I am a huge Batman fan. Like I grew up like reading Batman comics. I was obsessed with Detective Comics like all throughout junior high and high school. I got super obsessed with them. So I don't know, dude. Like I feel like that's also like a thing for me is like Batman fulfilled like one of my own fantasies, which was like
For sure.
being the Batman, you know? So
I love mythology and like all that nerd stuff. So Asgard's Wrath kind of fulfills like Norse mythology, Greek mythology, like that fulfills that fantasy for me.
that's fair. That makes sense. Yeah, like I've had a hard time with like the recent Assassin's Creed games as well because they're just playing in eras that I just have no interest in, right?
Yeah.
There's like the Egyptian one, which I'm here nor there on Egyptian mythology. And like same with like what was the other one? The Norse one. Like I love Vikings and stuff. I think that's a cool concept. And I actually like I have been like scheming up a potential like Viking game in VR. But like the mythology is I'm just like whatever. The only mythology I've ever got into
Norse
is Greek,
mythology.
a little bit, but that was
Greek.
mostly because of Percy Jackson. So
Gotcha.
oh gosh. Do we have to do VR chat?
I think VR chat is
It's not a
an
game.
interesting one. It's not a game,
It's not a game.
but
Uh,
it's one of those games. Well, there are games. That's the thing. It's a sandbox.
it's a platform. VR chat
It's
is
a
a
platform.
platform. None of these are even appropriate for me to put on stream. I just looked up VR chat. Yikes.
You got like
guys
a
are
VR chat logo.
You guys are nasty. Sheesh.
I think VR chat is a solid B tier. I think it's good, but it's
Yeah.
very niche, and it's something that not everybody's going to enjoy.
Can agree. Cool with that, chat. Yeah, yo, Asgard's Wrath chat is on your side with this one, dude. They are saying 100%. Like
100%
almost,
A tier.
it's 80% A tier for that. So I'll
Sick.
VR chat. I almost want to put it lower. We need an F tier game. We gotta come up with an F tier game. What is an
F tier game.
F tier VR game? I've got one in mind. I'm curious what you think.
All right, give it to me.
Tarzan VR.
I've never even. I think I saw that and it was so bad that I didn't even want to try it. Let's put that in there.
Oh my gosh! Like
Whoa, General
oh.
Milo is freaking throwing shade over here with Self Aid Arcade. The fuss, dude. What did we do to hurt you?
Did that game even work anymore? I have no idea. I should go check it out one time. Yeah, Tarzan VR. Also Tarzan VR was just like all the things I hate about like VR games. It was like they had like text floating in space and like health bars over enemy. It was just terrible. Like that was just hot garbage. Absolutely.
Yeah,
no
there's
thank
some
you.
things just aren't designed well.
It was
You know.
bad. And it bugged at the time. I really hated Tarzan VR as well because it was on the store and Sail VR was not even being considered. And
Yeah,
that pissed
was
me
crazy.
off. It's like, how
I
are you
remember that.
putting these
This crap on
POS
there.
games on your store and yet Sail isn't even being considered? Like, they wouldn't even talk to me at the time. That was a good, fun, dark time. Ugh.
All right, I have a couple more. I think we should throw on there.
In the F tier? Or
No, just on the tier list
all right.
because we're getting close to time.
Oh yeah.
But I definitely think Moss is one that is a cool genre-defining VR game.
Oh my
A
god.
third-person platformer is really interesting.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
Never played it. Never touched it. Never cared to.
Really?
I am not a
I think-
platformer guy.
Okay.
I've never been into
I
those.
love platformers.
That's fair. I know this
Do
is
you
a
remember
good game,
Robo
though.
Rescue?
Yes, I do. From the
Did you
old.
did you enjoy that?
It was fine. It was
Okay.
here nor there on it.
I think Moss is a lot of fun, and I think it's a really cool way to do platforming in VR.
I agree. I think for defining what VR platforming is, Moss did great. I can respect that. From what I've seen of it, I can respect it. The mouse is really cute. Like, he's adorable.
It is one of the cutest games in VR.
Like, I love that. I love cozy games as well.
Yeah.
Like those, that's fun to like at least observe. I'm not a partaker of those kinds of games, so it's like
Okay.
But I think it did a great job of defining like platforming, what it could be in virtual reality. I'm just not a platformer. Like those who follow my channel know this. I'm an FPS whore. Like I'm just I pretty much exclusively consume first person shooters. So
Gotcha.
that's where I'm at with this.
So I have one that I don't think you're gonna like, but I love. I think it's one of the best VR games ever made.
Okay.
Demio.
Demio. Ooh. Okay. I have some respect for Demio, actually.
Okay.
I have a lot of respect for Demio, actually. I played it a few times. I think it's really cool. I needed to play it with someone, I think. It would be fun. This is one of the ones I would actually love to jump into on a stream and try
I would jump
out.
in there with you.
I think it would be fun to try this out. Because Demio is cool. Like, the whole concept of Demio is awesome. I love the idea of, like, virtual or augmented reality board games with, like, almost, like do you remember in Harry Potter when they play wizard's chess? And it's like, the chess pieces, like, actually attack each other? I feel like that's kind of what Demio does in a lot of ways. Very accessible to like a lot of people. I could put Demio in A tier. I could very easily put it in A tier.
Cool.
I think it'd be fine.
I think it is definitely A tier. I would venture to say S tier, just for me.
It could be S tier for
There's a couple reasons why.
Okay.
It is now a mobile game and a desktop game that you can play collaboratively with a VR game.
That is true.
That adds points to me in any video game.
Yeah, that is cool. The cross-platform functionality.
Demio as well. I'm a card game nerd. Best card game in VR for sure. Definitely. It reminds me a lot of one of the most popular VR games, or not VR games, but board games ever made, which is called Gloomhaven. It is a really good VR representation of Gloomhaven, and I'm also a Dungeons and Dragons geek.
Yeah.
So, like Garrett is like your first-person shooter gamer, like you said, a FPS whore. I'm just a nerd. So, like, that kind of stuff is so fun for me. Like, I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love anything in that realm or world, like turn-based RPG games. I love those as well, like Baldur's Gate 3. So, to me, Demio is, like, the embodiment of that entire genre and style of video game and virtual reality. And it's the best by far.
Fair. I could see it in S tier. Chat, I've got a poll going, and I figured out how to do polls in Twitch now. So, got polls going on both sides right now. Let me know what you think, chat.
Nice.
We've got A tier going, and A tier is waiting out on YouTube right now. We've got S tier on Twitch though.
Ooh,
interesting. Yeah, no, Demio is a really cool. I think there's a whole genre within virtual reality of like these cool like VR game, like board game type things.
Yeah.
So,
I do too. I feel like it's something that hasn't been explored enough.
Yep. So.
And then the last game that I wanted to throw in there, it might be something again that you haven't played, but it's another horror game. I think it's more of a suspense horror game than it is like a jump scare horror game in a lot of ways. But it's called Lies Beneath.
Oh, yeah. I never played this one, but I've heard about it.
I haven't finished it because it's scary.
Fair.
But it is, to me, one of the most visually striking games in virtual reality. I love the art style of Lies Beneath.
Apparently, it's also a short film.
Oh, cool. So the whole style of the Lies Beneath game is you're inside of a graphic novel. So it looks like you're inside of a comic book. I mean, the story is really good.
Very freaky.
It's so good. I would 10 out of 10 recommend it. If you are going to play one spoopy game for Halloween, play this one, because it is definitely like top tier. I would say A tier for sure. I think more people need to play it. It's one that is not talked about enough. It's a little bit older, but it's still just, I feel like it never really got its glory day. I'm sure it did well, but people just don't talk about it enough.
It's I feel like I want to put it in like a B tier because I feel like it's not for everyone game, but it did what it did very well.
Horror for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very visually striking game, which I can appreciate. Like the art style they chose to go about with. I feel like this is one of the first games that used a very well done cell shader to hide the graphical limitations. Because this came out like on the Quest 1. Like this was like Grandpa-esque back in here. But it's very visually striking, very interesting, very fun, like game mechanics. Story is it story driven? I cannot remember.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a graphic novel.
Yeah.
And that's how they get away with not having cutscenes, is you're actually reading a comic book. So I think that's really cool. It's a cool mechanic.
I think they did a very good job with this. Cool.
So do we want to rearrange anything in there? We don't have any D tier.
We do not have any D tier.
I'd maybe put Richie's Plank in D tier. Move VR chat down to C tier.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Ghost of War, Moss.
And if you guys like this tier list, this is one thing we want to do a lot more.
Yes.
So give us some ideas on different tier lists. Maybe we could do a specific genre of game tier list, and Garrett and I could try and get in them and play them, or at least do some research into them. And let us know.
Yeah, if you guys are down for more tier lists, this has been a fun discussion. This has been a lot of fun. Yeah. We should have started earlier so we could do more. Let's do.
Well, we're looking to do segments in this podcast now. So, just so you guys know, like, this is episode 7. We're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to approach this podcast, right? It's kind of just something that Garrett and I are doing for fun. I think, we can do some tier lists. I think we kind of want to jump in and talk about the games that we're playing each week. So I'll try and play more new games because I get in my old habits of playing League of Legends over and over and over and over again.
That's what
so we can talk about that stuff.
No, I will be branching out a lot for streams. I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna do like a VR stream every week. I have been contacted. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to share this. Maybe I shouldn't say it, but I have a really cool.
We'll talk about it separately.
There's a really cool VR device company who wants me to do streams with said device. I think I'm okay to share that.
Dope.
So, okay, wait. There's one more I want to talk about that I think is fair to talk about because this is a really interesting genre of VR, and it is Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted in VR.
Okay.
This was suggested by Gaming Destroyer over on YouTube and a few other people as well. But this is an interesting category for me to like try to tier because this is a port over from a flat screen game, right? Like this is a literal
port. They do it well?
Did they do it well? Is it better than the flat screen game? And does it detract from a tier from a game if they are a flat screen game as well? What are your thoughts?
It really depends on the port. I would say if it's a port like what's it? Skyrim. That sucked. That was big dookie.
Yeah, that was major
But
hell.
if they reconsider the game and rebuild a lot of the stuff, like if you're able to grab a mug on the table, like if they go into that level of reconsideration of the game itself, I don't mind that it's a 2D game on a flat screen and a VR game, you know? It doesn't bother me.
Okay. So, I would argue that Five Nights at Freddy's...
Somebody said it was made for VR first and then ported to PC.
Okay,
which is
the game itself is unique. Like, they did... But it takes elements from, like, the original games and it puts them in virtual reality. It was basically, like... Yeah. It was a platform for their...
reimagination.
In VR, which I appreciate. I really appreciate that they did that. Like, I think that is fantastic. But, like, you get to experience the original horror that is Five Nights at Freddy's in virtual reality, right? And to me, that is, like, I think Five Nights at Freddy's is 10 times scarier in virtual reality. Like, I don't think that would be the case with all VR, all horror games, like flat screen ports of horror games. But Five Nights at Freddy's, when you actually have, like, the presence of, like, the office you are in and pressing the buttons and seeing the freaking animatronics outside your window, to me, that was a major upgrade in the horror level that existed in the game. So I feel like to that extent, it does well. Whether or not it's an A tier game or a B tier game, I feel like I want to put it more in the B tier. It's not for everyone. Horror games are not for everyone. But for what it is, horror game wise, it did it well. It did it really, really well. Declan, we lose you?
I think that's really cool.
Oh, your camera froze again.
Screen froze again.
We got Giga Chad. We got Giga Chad Declan today.
There you go. You can see my patchy beard.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. Chat saying it has a different storyline in VR than it does on flat, which is really cool. I think that needs to be rewarded. I would say probably
my chat is obsessed with FNAF. I was playing Fetching Zombies and getting the full storyline of freaking FNAF other day. My gosh.
I mean, that's a generational thing. FNAF is a revolutionary game, and that's why they made it in TV show, and that's why the TV show did so well.
TV show? Wait, I thought it was a movie.
Or the movie.
It's a movie,
yeah.
The movie did it fantastic. It was the #1 horror movie of 2023.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
That's fantastic. There's some serious firepower right now in turning video games, into some sort of screen thing. What do you call it? Movie.
Yeah.
Or streaming, whatever. But I want to put it in B tier.
Oh, your chat is not happy.
I know they weren't going to be happy about that because they think they have nothing but respect for... Where do you want it, chat?
I'd put it in A tier.
A?
I think it did a lot of really cool things. It's hard because it's probably not for everybody, right?
There you go.
But I think it's probably better than B. I don't think it's... Yeah, I think A is probably the best tier for it. It's one that I would feel comfortable, like, F tier.
All right, we'll do this, chat. I will put up 3 options on this poll. We will do S, A, and B.
Oh, they're going to put it in S.
I hate democracy sometimes.
That's the thing, though. Like, this is our opinion, but if the majority of people that play VR would recommend it,
this is true. For what it is,
and it probably is an S tier.
For what it is, it does like again. I feel like it does a great job of like it's a pretty user friendly game. Like you can sit in one spot and do all the things you have to. Yeah. Okay. Geez, 70% in S. Gosh dang it.
That has something to say though, you know.
It's true, but is it because of the VR parts of it, or is it because of like the FNAF fandom of it that they're putting it in?
That's true too.
I accuse you, chat, of being fanboys. Oh, it's funny. Oh dang! On Twitch though, we're pretty across the board on what it should be. S and B.
I think Sale Thief is trolling everybody.
Jeez.
They
What?
said FNAF sick, not gonna lie, but then they put F.
Fallout is on VR. Isn't Fallout VR though like a mod as well? I know Happy147 plays that quite a bit on stream and whatnot. All right. Chat, you've got
Well, cool.
one more minute to decide on that. Then I will place.
I think we need to play. What's the game that's coming out tomorrow?
Game that's coming out tomorrow.
Um,
Shotgun Roulette multiplayer.
No.
We do need to play that one though. I'm excited about that.
The sandbox, not the sandbox. The one where you're playing. What is it? It's a PC game that they're making in VR. It's not like a port. It's a remake of a PC game.
Human Fall Flat.
Yeah, Human Fall Flat.
Does that come out tomorrow?
That's what somebody said.
Human Fall Flat VR. That could be a dang funny one to do on stream.
Yeah.
Human Fall Flat VR. I have a. When does that come out? I do feel like it was soon. Is that tomorrow?
October 31st, yeah.
I'm trying to skip to the end of this.
Is it only on Steam, though? Okay,
No.
Human Fall Flat VR.
Coming October 31st at 11 a.m. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, so that is tomorrow. I'd be super down to play that. That looks like a really good time. Oh, my gosh. Okay. All right. S tier 1 out. In chat. I'll put it in A tier. We'll compromise. We'll put it in A. It's fine. I refuse to put that in S tier. No. No, chat. No.
Well, guys, we should be ending here soon.
Probably.
I think this was a very fun podcast. Again, I'm going to share the Discord link right here to go to the Discord channel. Everybody go to the Discord channel, join the channel, be active in the channel. We want to get your guys' opinions on what we should talk about. If you did just join, what'd you say? You should make a what?
I'm gonna make like a whole section in my Discord for the practical reality stuff really fast.
That's a good
I'm
idea.
gonna create a category.
Sick.
Practical reality podcast stuff.
If you just joined, you should definitely listen to the podcast. We put it up on Apple Podcast and Spotify and Amazon podcasts tomorrow. So, but this is our new schedule. We will be streaming on Wednesdays now, the podcast, instead of Tuesdays like before. We go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, U.S., and then we will post the podcast on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So, Moham, Boz, hello. They asked for a shout out.
Nice. Okay, hang on. I'm setting up a whole.
The one other
up a
person in Twitch that just joined, I can't say your name. I have no idea. It's just a string of letters, but shout out to you.
You're welcome. The podcast channel. Okay, yeah, there's a whole section now in the Garrett the Gamer Discord for the podcast stuff. I created an announcements channel, a podcast topic recommendation channel, and then podcast discussions. If you guys want to keep talking about stuff, we can keep.
I'll be on there
chat.
Pretty regularly chatting. If we get enough activity and if people are enjoying this, then we can start our own server to do the podcast. I know Garrett is stretched thin, so I can kind of manage that more.
To say the least.
And then eventually, I think we're going to try and go and put all of this on a Practically Reality YouTube channel.
Which is now live, and we streamed to it today for the first time.
Oh, dope. Yeah, so we'll get that put on there. I'm going to go through and upload all of the old streams onto it. Perfect. So that we have the Practically Reality old podcast episodes on there. And then we'll see what we do on there. If it pops off and we're having fun, then maybe we'll do streams on there.
We'll go crazy. We'll have
But-
fun.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
Woo! Gotta get rid of this stinking cough before the next one. Ugh. Fun. I had fun with this, guys. It's fun. It's fun ranking games. I would love to do this
Yeah.
for just like regular games as well. To do the current state of things. I love having chat recommend us different stuff to like give my opinions on it. But again, guys, these are just our opinions. Don't worry.
For sure.
These are our own things. Like I said, like I have very specific things about games that I love and hate, and it kind of shows in the tier list that I made. But anyway, all right,
Gabe,
guys.
if we get our YouTube channel to a certain number of subscribers, I will live stream the Adventures of Milo and Gabe. I have no idea what that is, but you keep
Milo
asking
and
for
Gabe.
it. So,
The two of our top players in CLVR.
oh, is it a game?
No, that's just their
Okay.
their ongoing joke. Jeez, Milo. Jeez, Gabe. Calm down. Calm down, lads. Oh.
3,000 bot accounts. Hey, if you're paying for it.
Brazen Blaze and Synthwise. Yeah, no, we didn't get to everything, guys. We'll have to do a couple. Like, we did not get to everything today. We were taking recommendations from chat, so like, I mean, where were you sooner, man? Where were you, Arlen of the Arc Reactor? We needed you.
Hey, we can keep this tier list going and throw more on there. Like that's totally chill. We can share what's on there right now and put it on the Twitch, or not the Twitch, the Discord, and then we can keep building on it. So
I'll download this and put it into the Discord right now, and you guys can roast me or toast me, depending. I'm just gonna sneak Five Nights at Freddy's down a tier every time I download it. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the podcast for the day. Thank you all for coming. It was a lot of fun ranking all these VR games and having a good time with it. Remember to catch us next week. We go live on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and then the day after, all the stuff will be live on Spotify, Amazon, and all the rest of the stuff. So if you didn't catch us today live, catch us on the places where you find your podcasts. And yeah,
we'll be back next Wednesday.
we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
See ya.
Bum, ba-da-bum, ba-bum.